An online form on an FBI webpage. Employee self-report. A supervisory special agent from the Counterintelligence and Espionage division fills it in and submits it. Then he goes to headquarters in person and asks to speak to someone. He says he needs to disclose something. He says, quote, "He screwed up." Nobody is investigating him. No audit has flagged anything. No alarm has gone off anywhere in the building. He is turning himself in, using a form on a website. 3 days later, federal agents will arrest him at his house. And in 7 weeks, he was supposed to be in Portugal. How does a counterintelligence agent walk $1 million out of federal evidence without leaving a single log entry? Why did nobody notice for a year and a half? And what made a man who had already gotten away with it walk into an office and confess? If cases like this are why you're here, the like button is the whole reason the next one gets made. His name is Steven Yaroch. He is a supervisory special agent. He works at FBI headquarters in the Counterintelligence and Espionage division. Before that, the Boston field office. 3 sentences, so there is no confusion later. Yaroch is the FBI agent. He is the one who took the money, and he is the one who confessed. Now understand what his division does. Counterintelligence is the part of the bureau that hunts foreign intelligence services operating inside the United States. It investigates people who work for the other side. Recruited assets, insiders, officers who trade what they know for money. His professional life was spent looking for exactly one kind of person. Somebody who has legitimate access and uses it for himself. He held a top-secret clearance. He knew how access logs worked. He knew what a download record looks like because reading them was his job. Remember that. It becomes the whole story twice. To understand what he had access to, you have to understand what the United States government now keeps in its evidence rooms. When agents seize a car, they tow it. When they seize cash, it goes into a vault with a log and a camera. Physical evidence has a location, and a location can be guarded. Cryptocurrency has no location, none at all. What exists instead is a phrase, a string of ordinary English words. Type them into any wallet application anywhere on Earth, and the money opens. There is no lock to change. There is no door to stand in front of. So the phrase goes into the case file. It has to. Without it, the government cannot move the coins at all. Which means every seizure creates the same quiet question. Who, right now, can still open it? October 2024. The U.S. Marshal Service awards a contract, reported at about $4 million, to a small IT firm in Virginia to help manage seized crypto that mainstream exchanges will not custody. The firm's registered business address is a single-family home. 3 months later, it hires a 20-year-old as a cryptocurrency subject matter expert. His father runs the company. No independent second key holder, no second signature. One person alone can move it. Prosecutors say that over roughly 5 weeks, more than $46 million leaves government-linked wallets. Nothing is hacked. There is no breach, no stolen password. The system works exactly as designed. That is the problem. Then comes January 22nd. The Marshal Service asks for roughly $2 million back. Routine. The money is supposed to be sitting right there. About 20 minutes later, prosecutors say, those assets move to an address the government does not control. 20 minutes. Somebody read the request and answered it by sending the money the other way. From there, the trail runs through a service built to break the link between where funds came from and where they land. But breaking a trail does not erase it. It only makes it harder to read, and people read it for a living. The arrest comes on St. Martin in the Caribbean. The defendant is John DeGita. He has not been convicted of anything. And one more thing, which will matter twice more before this is over. In 2022, more than a year before any of it, the Justice Department's own Inspector General published findings on the handling of seized cryptocurrency. The warning was public, in writing, available to read. The second one does not start in Washington. It starts at a counter in Sofia, Bulgaria, where the cash comes in paper bags. Rasen Iosifov runs an exchange called RG Coins. On paper, an ordinary business. People bring coins they leave with money. At least 5 of his principal clients are Romanian fraudsters, part of a network that advertises vehicles that do not exist. At least 900 Americans send payment anyway. Iosifov is the last link, the man who turns coins back into cash. At trial, prosecutors show the business was built for exactly that. Network members get better rates. They trade without identification and without being asked where the money came from. When one of them asks for his money with no identification, no questions asked, an email account associated with Iosifov replies that it will be, quote, no problem. Years later on the witness stand, he is asked about that email. He answers that he personally did not see anything suspicious in the request. September 2020, a federal jury in Kentucky convicts him. The sentence runs beyond 9 years. And on January 12, 2021, the court orders him to forfeit cryptocurrency in an account registered to him at an exchange, about $290,000. An account that had already been restrained during the investigation. 3 things are true at once. The account has his name on it. It is frozen. A court has ordered it surrendered. Not one of them means the government is holding the coins. Now go forward 3 years. According to the indictment, in 2024, that $290,000 leaves the account. Through exchanges, through mixing services, out the far side as ordinary money in a foreign bank account. At the time, Rossen Iosifov is inside a federal prison. In July of this year, the Justice Department announces new charges: removal of property to prevent seizure, aiding and abetting, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Up to 25 more years. He has not been convicted of them. The public record does not explain how a man in a federal prison took part. It does not name the others. And it does not explain how a restrained account could be drained at all, 3 years after a judge signed the order. 3 years. The state owned it the entire time. Somewhere in his caseload is an individual the filings describe only as coming from adversarial nation 1. That person has cryptocurrency, and here, according to the affidavit, is where it starts. Yaroch investigated an individual from adversarial nation 1 and became frustrated when he could not do more to disrupt this individual's use of cryptocurrency. Yaroch investigated him and became frustrated. The affidavit says he believed the FBI, quote, could not or would not act against adversarial cryptocurrency accounts. So, in the language of the filing, he decided to take matters into his own hands. He is describing a target, someone working for a foreign service, moving money the Bureau could see and could not stop. The affidavit says he believed the FBI, quote, could not or would not act against adversarial cryptocurrency accounts. So, in the language of the filing, he decided to take matters into his own hands. That is his stated reason. Not a car, not a house, not debt. Frustration. A federal office, ordinary hours, no mask, no weapon, no break-in at midnight. An employee opening a file he is authorized to open. He reads the very first word. And then he reads the second word from the page. Then the third word. Then he stops. He closes the file, and he walks out carrying the vault in his head. He did not photograph the screen. He did not print a page. He did not download a file or email himself anything. According to investigators, he memorized them. A photograph creates a file. A print job creates a log. A download creates a record with a date and a name attached. The man knew every one of those trails because following them had been his job for years. Words held in a human head leave nothing at all. Then, prosecutors say, he opens a wallet of his own and moves the money across in stages. Not once. Roughly 10 to 12 separate transfers between early 2025 and July of this year. He told investigators the holdings grew to about $1 million. And for around 18 months, nothing happens. No alarm. No audit catches it. The coins sit in evidence files nobody has a reason to open. He has done the difficult part perfectly. On the 28th of May, he opens a chat application and asks how a person should invest or spend $1 million for the best possible return. An ordinary question. Millions of people ask something like it every day. Then he comes back. He asks how someone with $1 million obtains residency or citizenship in the European Union. He asks about visa requirements routed through Turkey. He asks about work. He asks about relocating to Greece. And at his house, investigators later find something that is not a question at all: power of attorney documents for Portugal, and records of a trip to Portugal, planned for September. Read the sequence. A man asks what to do with money, then asks how to leave, then stops asking and starts signing documents. The exit was not a daydream. It had a country and a month. Here is the part he did not think about. He understood digital footprints at the level of foreign intelligence services. He understood access logs. He understood surveillance. What he apparently did not understand was chat history. He carried a wallet out of the FBI without printing a single page, and then typed his exit plan into an application that saves everything. Investigators recovered the conversations from his phone. This is the kind of case that disappears from the news in about a day. Subscribing is the only reason you'll get the next one. July 28th, 7 weeks before the flight. He walks into a colleague's workspace and asks to talk. And this is the thing that does not fit any of it. Nobody is closing in. There is no subpoena, no interview request, no sign that anyone had connected him to those wallets. He had the money, he had the documents, he had the date. He starts to break down. He says he made some very poor decisions related to cryptocurrency wallets. He says he screwed up. He says it is spinning out of control. The man whose profession was catching people who betray their own side walks in and reports himself. July 29th, the FBI places him on administrative leave. July 31st, the Bureau fires him. And that same day, agents arrest him at the house and take him to a detention center. The charges are interstate transportation of stolen goods and receipt of stolen goods. He has not been convicted of either. A complaint is an allegation. The Bureau says it has recovered roughly $925,000. In the house, agents find a small hardware device for storing cryptocurrency. And lying beside it, recovery phrases, written out by hand, on paper. The same phrases he memorized precisely so that nothing would exist on paper. We do not know when he wrote them down. We do not know why. But the method designed to leave no paper trail eventually produced one. And that sheet is evidence now. 3 cases in 12 months. A contractor with no second key holder. A prisoner whose frozen account emptied 3 years after the order. And an agent who walked the phrases out of counterintelligence files in his own memory. Nothing here required a hack. Nobody broke encryption. In all 3, the systems worked exactly as they were built. Nobody has said publicly how many seizure files are sitting in that condition right now. Ordered forfeited. Still holding coins, still exactly where they were the day the judge signed. He was going to be in Portugal in September. The affidavit, the Inspector General report, and the full timeline are in my Telegram. The link is in the description. One question for the comments, and I want a real answer. He stole from an adversary his own agency wouldn't touch, and then turned himself in. Is that a thief or a federal agent who broke? And if you want the case where $300,000 walked out of an account a judge had already frozen while the owner sat in a federal prison, that one is on screen now.